Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Peyton Klein. I'm 18 years old and a student at Taylor Alderdice High School in Pittsburgh, PA, and I'm so excited to be here with you representing the Global Minds Initiative. So I'm going to tell you a story about my education experience. And as one might expect, it all started in a classroom. So one morning, I was sitting in my homeroom class, and I realized that I knew everybody's name except for a girl sitting behind me. And this girl, she wore a hijab, and she always sat quietly, and I mistakenly thought that she didn't speak English. Now, something was missing. I believed in these values of diversity and inclusion and welcoming, but I wasn't actually living by them. So I went up to this student and I learned her name was Khawla, and we began speaking every morning. She shared with me that she loved to cook. We both were very disinterested in biology, and she told me that she was a terrible driver, as am I. And our conversations turned into this incredible friendship. She came to my house for Shabbat dinner, I went to her house for her birthday party, and we shared in this incredible cultural exchange. And eventually, she felt comfortable enough to tell me that she was a Syrian refugee and about the negative experience that she faced in high school. Students mocked her hijab, teachers joked with her as a terrorist. She felt like she didn't belong. Now, I wondered, was Khawla's experience unique? And it turns out it wasn't. I went to the English language learner classes at my school, and I started talking to students, listening to their stories I didn't know that I needed to hear. There was Isra, who fled Iraq from Al-Qaeda to Syria, to flee Syria from ISIS, to end up at Alderdice High School, to be a student who can and will change the world. There's Valeria from Venezuela, my Spanish tutor, and a student who loves both physics and pigs. We started chatting every day, and we started dreaming and acting. And with that, we founded the Global Minds Initiative, a for-youth, by-youth organization that bridges native English-speaking students and English language learners through activities about human rights, diversity, sustainable development, and international relations. That's all paired with conversational English practice to act as an educational support system for English language learners, and then to better educate native English-speaking students in order to confront the bias that I had, to build empathy, and to build not only the next generation of leaders, but leaders today within our schools and within our communities. And suddenly, magic started to happen. In December of 2016, we launched our after-school program, and it went from 10 students to 20 to 120 within 4 weeks. Students heard about what we were doing, and I soon started to realize we weren't building a program, we were building a family. We were building an inclusive community in the most exclusive of places, high school. And suddenly the word got out about us on a broader scale as students started sharing their stories online and the media heard about Global Minds. Teachers and students from all around the country and the world started reaching out and saying that the academic and social disconnect between native English-speaking students and English language learners was not just apparent in my community, it was apparent internationally. And suddenly, a 9th grader with no diploma, no education experience, was suddenly the expert. So that summer, I asked myself, what am I going to do now? And I got together with a bunch of students, a curriculum developer that I found online, and we wrote a book of 150 activities that promote cross-cultural connection, cultural identity, diversity. We put together guides on how to plan a field trip, how to reach out to an adult ally, best practices from our own experiences in youth-adult partnerships. And we put together a toolkit and sent it out to 13 schools. But now we're in 25 schools all across the US and Canada. We have a full-time program director, and we work with student associates from all across Pittsburgh. And that year, we did an evaluation with the University of Pittsburgh Center for Evaluation and Capacity Building, because I knew the glory of what was happening in my classroom and at my school and within the schools around the country in Canada, but I needed to show that to everyone. So we did this evaluation, and we found out with data that we had come on to this incredible solution. We were solving for what it means to belong in school. We were solving for building empathy. We were solving for cultural understanding and cross-cultural connection and youth leadership. And now anyone is able to go on our website, fill out a form, talk to our program director, work with our students, and start a chapter in their own community. And now we impact over 1,500 students in over 286 hours of programming from 50 different countries. Global Minds is cultural potlucks, dancing, celebrating, bringing our communities together over food, over celebration. Global Minds is courageous conversations each and every day, both inside and outside of the classroom. Global Minds is tutoring, not only for English language learners, but for me, getting tutored in Spanish and showing students that they too belong, that they too matter, and that they too can give back. So now I want to talk about the common theme of this conference, Pittsburgh, and my home. There are 4.6 million English language learners, which make up approximately 9.4% of every student body. And this data is what scares me. Over 55% of adults say that there are strong or very strong tensions between native-born and immigrant community members. And corresponding with that, hate crimes in the United States are increasing. And most recently, this attacked my community about 1 year ago. This is my synagogue where I was bat mitzvahed, where my two sisters were bat mitzvahed, about 1 block from my house and 2 blocks from my school. In October of last year, a gunman walked into my synagogue and took 11 beautiful lives. Now, what happens when anti-Semitism, to me, a relic of World War II, comes and knocks on your door, this hate that you've been fighting for over 2 years? Now, at Global Minds, our student leaders asked that same question that day and every day since. And while adults were arguing and figuring out logistics and responsibility and divisions, hours after this attack, youth leaders brought together over 2,500 people from all across Pittsburgh on the corner of our street to sing, to pray, and to heal with one another. Youth did this. We did this. I did this, along with other Global Minds leaders and activists from across Pittsburgh. And this is not a unique phenomenon. Whether it's with climate change in Parkland, in Sri Lanka, or New Zealand, youth cultivate community. Because youth are not only future leaders, we are leaders today. And quality education starts when we let students succeed, when you let us lead. And when you let us fail early, fail often, and fail together, and support us in developing and cultivating our leadership skills so we can do that in the future. Because change is a team sport. We have so many societal problems, and we need all hands on decks to solve them, starting from a young age and taking that social responsibility as we grow up. In the next 100 years, we will experience the equivalent of 20,000 years of progress. That's not scary, that's exciting. And at Global Minds, we're addressing this changing climate that we're in, quite literally, with youth-led programming. At Global Minds, we have our Student Associates program, where youth from all across Pittsburgh come to our offices and work 10 hours a week in real operational roles, whether it's communications director, planning our strategy, whether it's our team strategist, Daniela, who works with the #1 business consulting agency in the world to develop our financial strategy and our business plan, which was coordinated by simply cold calling them. Whether it's Abby, who works as our event planning associate, who convened over 30 leaders from all across the US and Canada, teachers and students, to train them as chapter leaders, to teach them how to build community, to talk about inclusive education. Whether she's working on our mobile app, that's basically a Facebook for global minds, connecting our ambassadors of inclusive education, or in-person conferences. These students are making change each and every day and are leading and building up our organizational capacity beyond our one full-time staff person. They're making change, and they're doing it now. So I want to leave you with one last thing. At Global Minds, this is basically our favorite quote: diversity is being invited to the party, inclusion is being asked to dance. We say that diversity is a fact, inclusivity is a choice. Now today, we have the choice to create an inclusive HundrED community. We have people from all around the world, and we have our youth ambassadors and our ambassadors, and we can stay on our own little corners and talk to the people we know, or we can simply say hello and engage with one another and have important conversations. Because for me, it all started with simply saying hello to Khawla. And that changed my mind and changed my world. And at Global Minds, we do that each and every day. So thank you so much for having me and for amplifying youth voice, and yay, Global Minds.